invited by our favorite businessman, Mr. Triplett, who owned Triplett Company and employed lots and lots of people.
Well, good morning. A 150 years ago, two major events were important in the history of Bluffton. You probably all know the first one. Well, that was the incorporation of Bluffton. How many of you remember the second one? Important event. No one? Oh, you poor, uneducated people. That was the year my grandfather was born. Yes, Will Triplett was the photographer for Bluffton for 50 years. Now, since you people need an education, we have arranged for the next few minutes that you will become so learned in ancient photography that you will be the smartest people in Northwest Ohio. And furthermore, if you step out to the art gallery in Bluffton University, where an exhibit has been especially prepared for this occasion, you will be the smartest people on planet Earth. Now let the learning begin.
Photographers in the late 1800s. Thank you. Photographers in the late 1800s were actually chemists. They had to mix up emulsions, coat glass plates, and then develop the pictures in special hand-mixed chemical solutions. Taking a picture was both a science and an art. Just to get one photograph, it would require many hours of setup, taking the picture and processing and printing the picture. Early photographers had to invent methods to keep the emulsion to stick onto the glass plate. While you think it may be hard to keep your glass windows clean, imagine the difficulty of keeping chemical mixtures to adhere to glass. So the early photographers were also inventors. They tried many different methods to make a photograph, using almost anything they could find. Some of them involved dangerous chemicals like the daguerreotype and the tintype. However, one of the inventions they came up with involved egg whites. That was called the albumin process. All of these early processes involved wet plates. They had to keep the plate wet during the whole time that the picture was taken. Because the emulsions were not very sensitive to light, the exposures had to be very long, so the subjects had to sit very still. And they often used a steel brace to support their back or their head. It took a long time to process and print the photo. But finally, finally, after a long time, the final print would be available for them to see. The wet process was very messy, so these inventors had to come up with something else called the dry process. They used another kitchen ingredient. This time, George Eastman made photography easy by using something we know as gelatin, or Jell-O. With the dry process, even photography was easier, but it still required a long time just to make a single picture. It was this point in photographic history that Will Triplett was just starting his photo business here in Bluffton, right during that transition between the wet plate photography and the dry plate photography. Again, they would wait many hours, and the final print would appear. As photographic methods improved, gelatin remained the stable technology for dry plates and roll film. As a matter of fact, it's still used as a method of technology for today. There was another issue that photographers had to deal with. Their cameras did not have autofocus as we enjoy today. The focusing problem was not very simple. The lens had to be moved while the photographer would watch an upside-down image on the back of the camera. The image was very faint and extremely difficult to see, let alone find the best focus. In order to block out the light, the photographers used a black cape to cover themselves so they could see that faint image and provide the best focus. Again, it would take a long time for them to see whether or not their picture was actually in focus or not, and that long-awaited time would come. As you can see, we've been experiencing some difficulty with the flash powder today. Before the flash bulb or the electronic flash, the photographer, or I should say the chemist, had to create an explosive mixture of magnesium and an oxidizer, which he would load into the flash tray. This mixture often was chemically unstable and could ignite just through sudden movement. It took a lot of skill and steps to prepare for just this one picture. The photographer had to sensitize the plate, focus the camera, get his subject arranged, lecture them about sitting still, mix up the flash powder, and be careful not to make sure there wasn't an unexpected explosion. Photography in the early days was challenging and time-consuming. It took a long time just to get that picture, and a sudden explosion of the flash would cause unexpected results. Each photograph required careful attention to detail, patience, and a keen eye. Each of Will Triplett's photographs has captured a permanent record of an instant in time. Now that you've learned about the technologies available to the early photographers, we all should appreciate the amount of effort that was required for each of those pictures. It makes me appreciate the slogan that George Eastman used to promote his line of cameras. You push the button, we do the rest.